Hello, LinkedIn family. Welcome to today's LinkedIn live session on a topic that is absolutely crucial for the organization today. That is data driven culture, transforming organization for the future. I am Damodar Sahu, co founder and chief growth officer at Data Safeguard. I am thrilled to be joined by Jay Como, global head of data management and enablement at Rowe Price. Jay is a true leader in data strategy, governance, and driving organizational change through data. Jay, welcome. It's a fantastic to have you here today.
Dr. Damodar, thank you, my friend. It's always great to see you, to speak with you, and it's an honor to be here with your LinkedIn community. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining this session. So, Jay, I want to start by asking about the foundation of a data driven culture. Why do you think building a data driven culture is critical for organizations, especially in an age where data security and data privacy are the most important than ever?
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned security and privacy because those of us that are in data management, maybe in data quality or data governance, are peripherally joined with the privacy and the cyber teams, but we probably don't talk enough. And so it's such a good point that you phrased the question and bringing all of that together. And so I think it starts with having the data holistically across all of the ecosphere that I mentioned, being empowered to see the data, to understand it, to then spread the gospel of that data vis-a-vis data literacy, talking about the data and talking about why it's important, and then bringing the concepts of both defensive postures for protection of PII, especially if you're in a regulated industry, but even if you're not, and then cyber and data protection, and then the fitness of the data from a governance perspective, understanding when any of those are breached. And so when you have that understanding, when you have that holistic view, and you truly understand the risk and the sensitivity of your data, and the three pillars, if you will, are protecting each other and keeping an eye out for each other, it really starts to bring together a transformational defensive posture. And any good offensive data posture has to first be fed by a good defensive posture. So in my opinion, bringing those three together are really the underpinning of a good data transformation.
That's great. Absolutely, Jay. And I think what often gets overlooked is that creating a data driven culture is not just a check upgrade, right? Tech upgrade. It's a transformation, it's a journey, right? It's about embedding data literacy and responsibility across every layer of the organization. So let's get into the segment two, building a culture of data literacy and responsibility. Jay, let's talk about data literacy. When we talk about data literacy, many organizations still struggle with bridging the gap between having data and actually using it effectively. In your experience or perspective, what are some ways leaders can instill data literacy and responsibility among their teams?
Dr. Damodar, I think articulating how important literacy is, the way that you frame the question, again, you're two for two. The way that you frame the question, and it has to be answered appropriately from a division perspective. I've seen a lot of organizations don't put enough influence and time on literacy. But if you take the data literacy term out of it and you just talk about any other types of transformational change, or even marketing strategy or revenue creation, you often will hear about a change management strategy. You'll hear about a communication strategy. You'll hear about marketing. Data literacy is all of those things. It's how that you identify why the data is important. Is it clean? Is it being used? Can it be used? And when I say being used, could it be used to create revenue? Could it be used to protect regulatory compliance? Can it be used to enhance your client experience? Can you use the fundamental underpinning of data literacy, data management, data governance, data quality? Can you use that to then protect the data, make sure it's available, make sure it's clean? And then when you're doing that, can you then tie, and this is where literacy really comes in, can you tie the positive outcome of that activity to a business outcome for your firm? And that's really the key. Data literacy is about hey, we're going to do a bunch of really tough tasks in data. But you know what? If we do it right, it's probably going to yield precisely the type of OKRs and results that you need for your most important strategic initiatives, where you're going to make the most money for your firm, where you're going to protect your most valuable and tangible assets, where you're going to make sure that your regulators are very happy with your compliance. So literacy is really identifying all of those different components and clearly articulating it to people that care about those outcomes. And you start to build a lot of momentum when you can articulate your literacy strategy that way. It's a really important component of any data practice.
Very insightful, Jay. I completely agree. So, creating a framework where data is accessible, understandable, and used responsibly goes a long way. As you know, at Data Safeguard, we believe in embedding privacy by design and accountability across all data processes. This ensures that we innovate, we also protect our customers' privacy. For anyone watching this, it is not just about training your teams on tools, it's about instilling a data mindset. Let's go back to our segment three, balancing innovation with security and privacy. Now, let's touch on a challenge every organization faces, balancing innovation with security and privacy. Jay, in a field as dynamic as data, what do you suggest for CDOs to maintain that balance?
There's a strategy, and it's got a bunch of C's in it. It's not because my last name is Como, but I'll
Yeah.
share the kind of the C's. It really comes down to if you are clear in your strategy, and that strategy is clear and collective. And what I mean by the collective is when you're looking at how privacy is important to your firm, how data protection is important to your firm, how data governance is important to your firm, and how that translates via the literacy we spoke about, you have to be very clear into how important those underpinnings are to your firm. And when I say collective, it's getting the rest of the organization that aren't data practitioners really bought in on that strategy. So any data strategy leveraging the good components I've mentioned has to be clear and collective. So it needs to be a shared vision and shared strategy. There needs to be continuous communication. Again, along the line of C's, continuous communication. So you need to talk about your successes. You need to talk about your struggles, your challenges. It's often easier to talk about the wins and much harder to talk about headwinds and talk about failures. But you have to be very transparent and clear and consistent on those communications about your failures. The thing is, be consistent in celebrating. We do transformational work in data by having incredible technology, a really good plan, a great communication strategy, but it's all brought together by having great people. And so when you establish those great people, whether they're your business partners on the collective or the people that work with you, when they win, be very consistent in celebrating their successes, because what we do is very tough. And so when we do it well, we want to brag about it, make sure people get recommendations and credit. So celebrate. It's really important. The last C I would share with you.
That's exactly right, Jay. So balancing compliance with innovation is no easy task, but it's crucial. In our experience, setting strong data governance standards upfront can actually accelerate innovation by reducing friction points around compliance. When teams know the boundaries, they can focus on creating within them. So let's talk about the best practices for embedding a data-driven culture. Jay, before we wrap up, could you please share some actionable best practices for companies looking to embed a data-driven culture?
Absolutely. I think just don't be afraid to affect that change. Like, look at industry tools that are available to you. Look at best practices you're picking up from podcasts like this, LinkedIn Live events. Read the books if you're interested in paper. Like, the stories on how to do this the right way are all very well documented. All it really takes is the courage to be bold enough to take that first step and leverage the expertise out in the industry and the tooling that's provided. And what you'll find is your firm is probably doing a lot of these things. It's just not official. So be comfortable pulling people into your ecosystem and help them, and then they end up helping you. So I just say, just go for it. And I will also add, in this world of generative AI, it seems very complicated, but the more and more it becomes mature, the faster I'm finding it's actually helping you do your day job. So it used to be about how do you govern generative AI, and now it's about how am I going to use generative AI for things like privacy protection, like Data Safeguard is doing. How am I going to use it to do other tasks? It starts to become a very circular story, but in a very positive way. So I would say embrace that change very quickly as well.
Can you hear me, Jay?
Yeah,
Looks
I can
like
hear you.
there is some technical glitch. Okay, you can hear you. Okay, move on.
Did you get that last
I
answer, or
think maybe some
did I?
problem on my side. Yeah.
Do you want me to answer segment 4 again, or?
Oh, and I think I miss you in between. If you are finished, then I mean we can have a closing remark. So I think it's fantastic advice, Jay.
Okay.
I would add that making data part of the company storytelling is also important. As you said, share success stories, highlight data insight in leadership meetings, and integrate it into a company's mission. Right? When people see the impact, that they are more likely to embrace it. So, what would be your closing remarks on the data-driven culture?
Yeah, I would say rely on trusted partners, be brave, get going, get in the game. You might fail, but pick yourself up, dust yourself off, get your village. Your village is important. Get your sponsors. We have big tasks to do, but we can win if you get in the game fast enough and pick yourself up, move forward. That's my biggest advice.
I think there is some problem. Maybe can you hear me, Jay?
Yeah, I've heard you the whole time. Did I not come through?
Oh yeah, I think there is a on-off. Maybe I don't know, internet issue, some technical glitch. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I
I
can't
can hear
hear
you.
you. Sorry.
Can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So to everyone watching this, I don't know whether you heard it correctly or not. I mean, I found some technical glitch from my side. No. So, but thank you for joining us. I'll talk to Jay if you can again repeat it maybe next week or next few weeks. Remember, the future is data driven. Embrace it, nurture it, and transform your organization. If you would like to connect or know more, feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. Until next time, stay innovative and data responsible. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.